Orgone energy, the planet that we live on, the center of it, is basically a giant crystal, and that energy is focused through the center of this planet, and it explodes out. Orgone energy Orgone energy is basically an energy, the same energy that comes from the sexual orgasm is an energy that permeates the universe, and it comes out of the earth 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it is available to us to heal us and nurture us. The only problem is we live in urban areas, and we live in houses and metallic structures, and we drive cars, and we have different things that interrupt that flow of energy, and it creates detrimental waves. And with refrigerators, televisions, microwaves, cell phones, it just disrupts the natural flow of the universe that permeates where we live and how we breathe. Just as a fish lives in water, they need clean water to live. They can't really live in muddy water. The electromagnetic smog and interference that we live in is pretty much like a fish trying to live in a dirty pond.
So it's like the energy from the earth.
Yes. Well, it's not just the earth, but it's the entire universe. It is the thing that, it's universal energy. However, because the planet that we live on, the center of it, is basically a giant crystal, okay, and that energy is focused through the center of this planet, and it explodes out like a fountain, and we have access to it. But, it's kind of a suppressed technology for a lot of different reasons, because, as I said, it has health benefits, mental and spiritual and metaphysical benefits, and the powers that be that would make money in certain areas, if we had a general knowledge of this and we were to utilize this on a grand scale, there would be a lot less money made in a lot of different areas. It's a frequency, okay? Everything works on a frequency. Your emotions, your thought processes, they're all frequencies. Now what happens, this is the highest form of energy that we have access to on this planet. So when you interact with it, it's going to make everything come in line. Whether some people use it for meditation purposes, just general well-being. It transmutes energy from computers, cell phone towers, if you live under power lines and things of that nature. Just as a lot of people understand that we live on a planet, and the planet has what you call ley lines. Okay, which is basically a grid that goes across, an energy grid that goes across the face of the planet. It engulfs the planet, in fact. Well, that energy that travels along those lines is Orgone energy. And throughout the centuries, advanced societies have known this, and they have taken advantage of it. This is, like I said, this is an ancient technology. It's a suppressed technology. The same way that a subway system works on a railroad track, this is the way that the ley lines work, and if you understand Orgone energy, you tap into it. That's why most of the major cathedrals, different sites, palaces, cathedrals, different things, those who are in the know are built right on those ley lines because they're tapping into the energy, and architects do understand this energy, and it's not imaginary.
You make these pyramids, crystals, you kind of harness the energy?
Yeah, basically, okay, let's talk about the basic construction of it. It's basically made with like resin. I use quartz crystals, some coils. Anybody can go online, and there's a bunch of videos now about Orgone devices. The generic Orgone of choice is basically the muffins. A lot of people know them, as muffins because we use like muffin molds to make them, so they're the most commonly known. It doesn't matter because the muffins are small, and We use like copper coils and shavings of different sizes, different stones like quartz crystals, different stones for their healing properties. When the resin that you make the Orgone device in begins to squeeze, it tightens. It hardens and it tightens and it squeezes the crystals that you put in there, thereby maximizing the output of the energy that the crystal is designed to put out. So it's like, you know, you take a coal and you squeeze it and you make a diamond over a period of time. Well, just as that process takes place, when you squeeze a quartz crystal, when you squeeze a ruby or a sapphire or, you know, malachite or amethyst, those particular properties they explode out of it, and it becomes beneficial, almost the same way you would use an humidifier or an ionizer in the air. You know, I always tell people, when people call me in the morning, they're like, "Why is it so noisy?" I said, "Because of all the birds in the area. They live at my house." You know, because they and wildlife and everything, they understand this energy, and they just come to get as much of it as they can. All of the major sites in the world, Stonehenge, the pyramids, Taj Mahal, you know, all these places, they're all built on these energy lines because of this energy that comes out of the earth, right? And this is why I say that it is important, especially in the melanated community. Remember, this particular energy not just affects your health, but it affects your mental and spiritual well-being. This is an ancient technology, and focus on that term technology. I'm talking machines, okay? A lot of people think that machines have to have a bunch of moving parts, not necessarily, okay? And these ancient machines are set up, and they, look, okay, you hear people talking about free energy, right? Well, these things also put out free energy. When it comes to dealing with Orgone devices and quartz crystals, it reacts with melanin. A lot of the ancient Kemetic drawings, you see them, they have ankhs and staffs in their hands, and what you'll see, like one of the other devices that I make and I work with, you'll see the pharaohs, they have these little rods in their hands, these ancient Egyptian healing rods, okay? One would be of a copper construction and the other one would be of a silver, a tin, okay? Now what happens is that these rods were filled with different elements and minerals to affect the physical and the spiritual body in a way that you could affect your own ascension, to balance the hemispheres of your brain out, to speed up your recovery, you know, to enhance intelligence, all kinds of things. And what they did in ancient Kemet is that they tapped into the Orgone energy. And these pharaohs will walk around with these devices in their hands and just tap into the energy 24 hours a day. You got to remember, this is your ancient science. This alchemy is Kemetic science. It's a high level of science. To some people, it's such a high degree of science that they call it magic.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't understand the inner workings of it. So they're like, "Oh, this is your magic." I'm like, "No." Well, I mean, you can call it that if you want, but it's science. It's a high science.